Part 3. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene Summary. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Don't offend the wrong person. Choose your opponents wisely. There are some people that, once defeated, will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. Consequently, it pays to not offend the wrong person. The skill of correctly measuring people is the most important with regard to getting and maintaining power. Be sure to know everything about a person before you work with them. However, don't rely on your instincts to get an understanding of a person, and never trust appearances. Watch your target over a long period of time to get a truer picture of their nature. Law 20. Don't commit to anyone. Make sure the only cause you commit to is yourself. Maintain your independence at all costs. This allows you to play people off against each other. When you hold back from joining a cause, you create a sense of respect because you appear untouchable. You gain a reputation for independence. Further, do not commit to anyone. Stay out of petty fights and squabbles. Feign interest, but let others do the fighting while you watch and wait. Often, it can be a good tactic to stir up quarrels between two parties and then gain power by acting as the go-between. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Appear dumber than your mark. No one enjoys feeling stupid. Consequently, a great trick is to make your opponents feel smarter than you. Once they believe themselves to be more intelligent, they will never suspect that you have any ulterior motives. Law 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. Surrender before you are about to be defeated. This buys you more time to plot your revenge and to torment your conqueror. By surrendering, you deny them the satisfaction of destroying you. In doing so, you make the act of surrender a tool of power. By yielding, you gain the upper hand because you lull your opponent into believing they have defeated you, even as you plot their downfall. This confuses your opponents and means they are unlikely to act aggressively against you. Law 23. Concentrate your forces. Conserve your energies by focusing them all into a single source of power. When looking for such a source, identify a single spring that will sustain you for a long time to come. You gain more power by finding a singular rich source than by flitting between many more shallow sources of power. Power exists in concentrated form. In any organization, power will emanate from a small group of people who are holding all the strings. Consequently, power is like oil. You only need to strike it once to assure yourself a lifetime of wealth and power. Law 24. Play the perfect courtier. The courtier wields power through discrete avenues. By flattering and yielding to their superiors and only enforcing their power through charm and grace, they gradually accumulate an ever-increasing amount of power. There are several steps one can take to become the perfect courtier, and they involve the following: practicing nonchalance, being frugal with flattery, adapting your style and language according to your audience, avoiding being the bearer of bad news, never criticizing your superiors, being self-observant, mastering your emotions, being a source of pleasure. Law 25. Recreate yourself. Do not accept the role that society has given you. Forge your own identity, one that commands attention. Master your image rather than letting others dictate it for you. Remake yourself into a figure of power as if molding yourself from clay. To do this, you must first be self-aware and you must learn to master your emotions. Then, you must create a memorable character. From here, you can learn to play many roles to adapt to what any given situation requires of you. However, remember that overacting can be counterproductive. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. You must maintain a spotless appearance. You should never be associated with nasty deeds. To do this, employ the use of scapegoats to disguise your involvement. Your reputation depends more on what you conceal than what you reveal. You should always have a convenient scapegoat on hand for when needing to conceal your more dubious activities. In addition to a scapegoat, you will also need a catspaw. This is someone who does your dirty work for you while obscuring your involvement. This means letting someone else be the bearer of bad news while you choose to associate yourself exclusively with the good. Law 27. Create a cult-like following by playing on people's need to believe. People want to believe in something. By inventing yourself as this cult-like entity, they will follow you and give you untold amounts of power. To become such a figure, You need to follow these steps. Keep your words vague and simple, but full of promise. Emphasize enthusiasm rather than the intellectual and the rational. Structure your group in accordance to the forms of organized religion. Disguise your sources of income. Create an us versus them dynamic. Law 28. Enter action with boldness. Everyone admires the bold. The timid are frowned upon. Consequently, you shouldn't choose a course of action half-heartedly. Your doubts will become apparent and will tarnish your reputation. It's always better to act boldly. Any mistakes made are easily compensated by acting even more audaciously. Few are born bold. It's a habit that needs to be cultivated. It must be practiced. Likewise, timidity is also a learned trait. If you find yourself acting timidly, you must root this out and replace it with acts of boldness instead.